Welcome to Audiobooks, where clarity replaces noise, intention replaces distraction, and your highest level of performance begins with the discipline of your mind. Today, we present 1 hour deep focus, a guided mental experience designed to help you enter a state of sustained concentration, heightened awareness, and intentional productivity in a world that constantly competes for your attention. This audiobook is not simply about working longer, but about working deeper, training your mind to resist distraction, regulate internal chatter, and sustain cognitive intensity for meaningful periods of time. In the next hour, you will learn how to eliminate mental clutter, anchor your attention, and cultivate the psychological conditions necessary for peak performance and creative clarity. Deep focus is not a talent reserved for a gifted few, but a skill that can be trained through structure, awareness, breathing, discipline, and intentional mental positioning. When you master focus, your efficiency increases, your decision-making sharpens, and your ability to produce high-quality work in less time expands significantly. This session is designed to quiet mental noise, align your attention with your task, and build the neurological endurance required for uninterrupted concentration. Whether you are studying, building, writing, creating, or solving complex problems, this hour is your space to eliminate distraction and enter flow. If this experience strengthens your productivity and sharpens your mental clarity, follow Audiobooks, subscribe for more performance-focused sessions, leave a review to support our mission, and share this with someone ready to master their attention. Now prepare to silence distraction, stabilize your breathing, and step into 1 uninterrupted hour of deep, disciplined focus. This focused experience is structured intentionally to guide you through stages of mental preparation, sustained concentration, and cognitive reinforcement, allowing your mind to transition gradually from scattered awareness into immersive engagement. As we begin, understand that the quality of your focus during this hour will depend not on effort alone, but on your willingness to release external noise and commit fully to the present task before you. This audiobook is intentionally divided into 8 structured chapters, each designed to guide you progressively deeper into the discipline of sustained concentration, mental clarity, and cognitive endurance. As we begin with the first chapter, understand that deep focus is not an instant switch, but a trained state, and this foundation will determine the quality of every focused hour you experience from this point forward. Chapter 1. The foundation of deep focus: eliminating distraction, training attention, and preparing the mind for 1 hour of cognitive intensity. In this chapter, titled The Foundation of Deep Focus, Eliminating Distraction, Training Attention, and Preparing the Mind for 1 hour of Cognitive Intensity, we explore how mental preparation, environmental control, attentional training, and internal awareness combine to create the psychological conditions necessary for sustained focus, while also examining the cognitive benefits of deep work and why mastering this foundation is essential in a world saturated with interruption and digital noise. Deep focus does not begin when you sit down to work, but rather in the deliberate preparation of your environment and mindset. Because attention is fragile and easily fragmented when external stimuli compete aggressively for your awareness, the first step in training attention involves consciously removing distractions, which includes silencing notifications, clearing unnecessary visual clutter, organizing your workspace, and signaling to your mind that this hour is reserved for uninterrupted engagement. When the environment supports concentration, cognitive load decreases, and your brain no longer expends valuable energy filtering out irrelevant stimuli that quietly drain mental endurance. Internal distraction, however, can be more persistent than external noise, because unstructured thoughts, unresolved concerns, and emotional restlessness often surface the moment you attempt sustained concentration. Training attention therefore requires acknowledging these internal interruptions without engaging them, allowing thoughts to pass without attachment so that your primary task remains central within your conscious awareness. Breathing awareness becomes a powerful stabilizing tool during this process, because controlled breathing regulates physiological stress responses and anchors attention in the present moment, rather than allowing it to drift into anticipation or rumination. As you practice returning your focus repeatedly to the task at hand, you strengthen neural pathways associated with sustained attention, gradually increasing your capacity to resist distraction over longer periods. One significant benefit of establishing this foundation is improved cognitive efficiency, because when attention is stable, comprehension deepens, problem-solving accelerates, and creative insight emerges with greater clarity. Another benefit lies in reduced mental fatigue, since focused engagement conserves energy that would otherwise be wasted on constant task switching and fragmented thought patterns. The importance of this chapter cannot be overstated, because without mastering the fundamentals of environmental control and attentional discipline, attempts at deep focus will feel forced, exhausting, and unsustainable. As you internalize these principles and apply them intentionally before each focused session, you begin building the mental architecture required to sustain 1 full hour of immersive, undivided concentration that strengthens both productivity and cognitive resilience. As you establish the foundation of deep focus through environmental control and attentional awareness, you begin to recognize that preparation alone is not enough unless it is reinforced by mental endurance capable of sustaining concentration beyond the initial surge of motivation. With this understanding, we now move into Chapter 2, where we develop the stamina, cognitive control, and internal discipline required to remain fully engaged for an uninterrupted hour of meaningful work. Chapter 2, Building Cognitive Endurance, Sustaining Attention, Managing Mental Fatigue, and Strengthening Focus Stamina. In this chapter, titled Building Cognitive Endurance, Sustaining Attention, Managing Mental Fatigue, and Strengthening Focus Stamina, we explore how mental stamina is developed through structured repetition, disciplined awareness, physiological regulation, and strategic pacing, while also examining the profound benefits of sustained attention and why. Endurance is the bridge between intention and high-level performance. Cognitive endurance is not an inherent trait but a trainable capacity, much like physical stamina, and it increases gradually when the mind is challenged to maintain focus slightly beyond its comfort threshold without succumbing to distraction or avoidance. When you begin a focused session, your attention may feel strong and clear, yet within minutes subtle impulses arise urging you to check messages, shift tasks, or seek novelty. And recognizing these impulses without acting on them becomes the first exercise in strengthening mental discipline. Each time you consciously choose to remain engaged with your task despite the pull of distraction, you reinforce neural circuits associated with executive control and reduce the dominance of impulsive behavioral patterns. Mental fatigue often arises not from the difficulty of the task itself, but from internal resistance to sustained effort. And understanding this distinction allows you to push through discomfort with awareness rather than frustration. Strategic pacing plays a crucial role in endurance development because deep focus does not require frantic intensity, but rather steady, measured engagement that preserves cognitive energy throughout the full hour. Breathing rhythm, posture alignment, hydration, and subtle physical awareness contribute significantly to sustained concentration, as physiological stability supports neurological efficiency. When fatigue begins to surface, reframing it as evidence of growth rather than limitation transforms the experience from discouraging to empowering, reinforcing your commitment to continue. One of the most powerful benefits of cognitive endurance is increased productivity within shorter time frames, because uninterrupted focus eliminates the inefficiencies of constant task switching and fragmented thinking. Another benefit lies in enhanced comprehension and retention. As sustained attention allows the brain to process information more deeply and integrate insights more effectively, the importance of building endurance cannot be overstated, because without the ability to sustain attention, even the most structured environment and strongest intention will collapse under the weight of internal distraction. As you practice maintaining focus through moments of mental resistance, you gradually extend your capacity for deep work, transforming 1 hour of concentration from a challenge into a reliable and repeatable state of performance. As your cognitive endurance strengthens and your ability to remain engaged becomes more consistent, the next stage of deep focus development requires refining the quality of attention itself, because sustained effort must now evolve into immersive presence that eliminates internal noise and sharpens mental clarity. We now transition into Chapter 3, where we explore how to enter the state of flow, deepen concentration, and align awareness fully with the task before you. Chapter 3, Entering Flow State, Deep Immersion, Mental Clarity, and Eliminating Internal Noise. In this chapter, titled Entering Flow State, Deep Immersion, Mental Clarity, and Eliminating Internal Noise, we examine how deep focus evolves into flow through alignment of challenge and skill, intentional awareness, cognitive absorption, and emotional neutrality, while also exploring the transformative benefits of immersive concentration, and why flow represents the highest expression of focused performance. Flow state occurs when your level of skill meets the level of challenge in a balanced manner, creating engagement that is stimulating without being overwhelming and absorbing without being exhausting. To enter this state, you must begin by clarifying your objective for the hour, defining the specific outcome you intend to achieve so that attention has a precise direction rather than a vague intention. Clear goals reduce cognitive friction, because ambiguity creates subtle uncertainty that distracts mental energy from the task itself. As you immerse yourself in the task, external awareness gradually fades, and the boundary between effort and action begins to dissolve into seamless engagement. Internal noise, including self-criticism, doubt, and unrelated thoughts, must be acknowledged without attachment, allowing them to pass without interrupting the rhythm of concentration. The key to deep immersion lies in narrowing attention deliberately to the immediate step before you, rather than projecting too far ahead or revisiting what has already been completed. Emotional neutrality supports flow, as excessive excitement or frustration disrupts the steady cognitive rhythm required for sustained absorption. When flow is achieved, time perception often shifts, making the hour feel shorter while productivity increases significantly due to uninterrupted mental momentum. One of the greatest benefits of entering flow state is creative expansion, because the brain integrates information more fluidly and generates innovative solutions with greater ease. Another benefit lies in intrinsic satisfaction, as deep immersion creates a sense of meaningful engagement that reinforces motivation and reduces burnout. The importance of mastering flow lies in its ability to transform focus from forced discipline into natural absorption, allowing 1 hour of deep work to produce results equivalent to several hours of fragmented effort, thereby strengthening both efficiency and cognitive confidence for future sessions. As you begin to experience moments of flow and recognize the power of immersive concentration, you may also notice how easily that state can be disrupted by subtle mental interference or emotional fluctuation that pulls attention away from the task at hand. With this awareness, we now transition into Chapter 4, where we strengthen your ability to protect focus under pressure and maintain clarity even when distractions attempt to reclaim your attention. Chapter 4, Protecting Focus, Mental Boundaries, Emotional Regulation, and Distraction Resistance. In this chapter, titled Protecting Focus, Mental Boundaries, Emotional Regulation, and Distraction Resistance, we explore how to defend your attention from internal and external interruptions by building psychological boundaries, regulating emotional responses, strengthening impulse control, and reinforcing intentional awareness, while also examining why protecting focus is just as important as achieving it in the first place. Deep focus is not only about entering a concentrated state, but about maintaining that state when unexpected thoughts, digital interruptions, or emotional reactions attempt to fracture your engagement. Mental boundaries begin with a conscious commitment that during this hour your attention belongs fully to the task, and this commitment must be reaffirmed each time distraction subtly invites you away. Emotional regulation plays a critical role in distraction resistance, because frustration, boredom, or anxiety can trigger avoidance behaviors that masquerade as necessary breaks. When you observe emotional shifts without immediately reacting to them, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing deliberate choice to override impulse. Impulse control strengthens through repetition, as each resisted distraction reinforces neural pathways associated with executive function and long-term goal alignment. External interruptions, such as notifications or environmental noise, must be treated as predictable obstacles rather than surprising disruptions, encouraging proactive preparation rather than reactive frustration. By anticipating distractions before they occur, you reduce their psychological impact and preserve your internal stability. One powerful benefit of building distraction resistance is the development of cognitive confidence, because each successful focused session reinforces your belief in your ability to control your attention deliberately. Another benefit lies in emotional steadiness, as regulating your reactions during concentration enhances composure in other areas of life. The importance of protecting focus lies in recognizing that attention is a finite resource, and without deliberate boundaries, it will be consumed by competing demands that weaken productivity and clarity. As you strengthen mental defenses and regulate emotional responses, deep focus becomes less fragile and more resilient, allowing you to maintain cognitive stability even when circumstances are less than ideal. As your ability to protect and stabilize focus improves, the next stage of mastery involves refining the quality of your thinking within that focused state, because sustained attention must now evolve into structured high-level cognition that produces measurable and meaningful results. We now transition into Chapter 5, where we explore how to think more clearly, organize complex ideas, and elevate the depth of your work during one uninterrupted hour. Chapter 5, Structured Thinking, Clarity, Prioritization, and High-Quality Cognitive Output. In this chapter, titled Structured Thinking, Clarity, Prioritization, and High-Quality Cognitive Output, we examine how organized mental frameworks, strategic prioritization, logical sequencing, and deliberate cognitive structure transform focused time into exceptional results, while also exploring the benefits of thinking with precision and why structured cognition amplifies the value of deep work. Deep focus without structure can result in prolonged effort without meaningful progress, whereas structured thinking channels attention toward outcomes that are measurable, prioritized, and strategically aligned. Clarity begins with defining the single most important objective for the hour, ensuring that your cognitive energy is directed toward impact rather than scattered across competing tasks. Prioritization reduces mental overload by eliminating unnecessary decisions and narrowing attention to high-value activities that produce disproportionate results. Logical sequencing organizes complex work into manageable steps, preventing overwhelm and preserving forward momentum throughout the session. When you break tasks into structured components, you reduce cognitive friction and increase efficiency without sacrificing depth. High-quality cognitive output emerges when clarity, prioritization, and sequencing operate together, transforming focused effort into tangible progress. Structured thinking also enhances creativity, because organized mental frameworks provide stability within which innovative ideas can form without chaos. One significant benefit of disciplined cognitive structure is reduced mental fatigue, as clarity minimizes wasted effort and unnecessary mental repetition. Another benefit lies in improved confidence, since consistent production of meaningful results reinforces your belief in your capacity to perform at a high level. The importance of this chapter lies in understanding that focus alone does not guarantee excellence. But focus combined with structure produces clarity, momentum, and measurable advancement. As you integrate structured thinking into your deep focus sessions, you elevate the quality of your output, ensuring that each hour of concentrated work becomes not only productive but strategically transformative. As structured thinking strengthens the quality of your focused work, you begin to understand that deep concentration is not merely a tool for productivity, but a discipline that can reshape how you learn, create, decide, and perform under pressure. With this awareness, we now move into the final 3 chapters, where focus evolves from a session-based practice into a sustainable cognitive lifestyle that enhances long-term performance, mental clarity, and personal mastery. Chapter 6: Mental Recovery and Focus, Renewal, Rest, Reset, and Cognitive Restoration. In this chapter, titled Mental Recovery and Focus, Renewal, Rest, Reset, and Cognitive Restoration, we explore how intentional recovery, strategic rest, neurological reset techniques, and sustainable pacing preserve deep focus over time, while also examining why recovery is not a break from productivity but a critical component of high-level cognitive performance. Deep focus requires energy, and energy must be replenished deliberately if concentration is to remain sharp rather than gradually deteriorate through unnoticed mental fatigue. Mental recovery begins with recognizing early signs of cognitive overload, including declining clarity, increased distraction, slower processing speed, and subtle emotional irritability that signals depleted attention reserves. Intentional rest differs from passive distraction, because scrolling through digital feeds or multitasking between low-value activities often fragments the mind further instead of restoring it. A strategic recovery involves stepping away from intense cognitive effort while allowing the brain to enter a calmer rhythm through controlled breathing, light movement, hydration, and temporary disengagement from demanding input. Sleep quality plays a foundational role in focus renewal, as memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and executive function are deeply influenced by neurological restoration during rest cycles. Micro breaks between deep work sessions enhance sustainability, preventing burnout while preserving momentum across longer projects. One powerful benefit of structured recovery is improved retention, since information processed during focused sessions integrates more effectively when the brain is allowed space to consolidate. Another benefit lies in emotional stability, as proper recovery reduces stress accumulation that could otherwise undermine future concentration. The importance of this chapter lies in understanding that endurance without renewal eventually leads to diminishing returns, whereas balanced cycles of focus and recovery produce consistent high performance. As you integrate intentional recovery into your routine, you transform deep focus from a demanding effort into a sustainable rhythm that strengthens clarity without exhausting your mental capacity. Chapter 7: Focus Under Pressure, Performance, Composure, and Cognitive Stability. In this chapter, titled Focus Under Pressure, Performance, Composure, and Cognitive Stability, we examine how to maintain concentration during high-stakes situations, emotional intensity, deadlines, and unexpected challenges, while exploring the benefits of composure and why mastering focus under pressure distinguishes consistent performers from reactive individuals. Pressure amplifies distraction because urgency activates stress responses that narrow attention impulsively rather than strategically. To sustain focus under pressure, you must regulate physiological reactions through controlled breathing and deliberate pacing, preventing anxiety from hijacking executive function. Composure strengthens decision-making by preserving access to logical reasoning even when external demands intensify. Mental rehearsal techniques prepare the brain for anticipated stressors, reducing the shock of sudden pressure and reinforcing confidence. Clarity of priorities becomes essential during demanding moments, as knowing exactly what matters prevents overwhelm and scattered effort. When you practice focusing intentionally during moderate stress, you condition your nervous system to remain stable under greater intensity. One significant benefit of pressure-trained focus is improved performance consistency, since you are no longer dependent on ideal conditions to produce quality results. Another advantage lies in increased confidence, as repeated success under pressure reinforces trust in your cognitive stability. The importance of mastering focus during challenging situations lies in recognizing that real-world performance rarely occurs in silence or comfort. As you strengthen your ability to remain composed and attentive under stress, deep focus becomes not only a productivity tool but a performance advantage across every area of life. Chapter 8: The Focused Mindset, Turning Deep Work into a Daily Habit and Lifelong Advantage. In this chapter, titled The Focused Mindset, Turning Deep Work into a Daily Habit and Lifelong Advantage, we explore how to transform 1 hour of deep focus into a consistent daily practice by building routines, reinforcing identity, aligning habits with long-term goals, and embedding attention discipline into your personal and professional life. A focused mindset begins with identity, because when you see yourself as someone who protects and directs attention intentionally, your daily behaviors begin aligning naturally with that belief. Habit formation strengthens deep focus by reducing resistance, as repeated scheduling of focused sessions trains your brain to anticipate immersion rather than distraction. Consistency matters more than intensity, since small regular focus sessions produce greater cumulative benefits than sporadic bursts of extreme effort. Rituals before each session, including environmental preparation and mental centering, signal to your brain that it is time to enter concentrated engagement. Tracking progress reinforces motivation, as measurable improvement in productivity and clarity strengthens commitment. The compound effect of daily focus transforms skill acquisition, creative output, and problem-solving capacity over months and years. One profound benefit of a focused mindset is increased autonomy, because the ability to control attention reduces dependency on external motivation or urgency. Another benefit lies in reduced mental clutter, as intentional focus eliminates the chaos of multitasking and scattered effort. The importance of this final chapter rests in its emphasis on sustainability, ensuring that deep focus becomes a lasting advantage rather than a temporary experiment. As you integrate structured routines, identity reinforcement, and consistent practice into your daily life, you transform deep focus from a single hour of discipline into a lifelong cognitive asset that sharpens your performance, strengthens your clarity, and elevates every meaningful endeavor you pursue. As we come to the end of 1 hour deep focus, it becomes clear that deep concentration is not simply a productivity technique but a disciplined mental practice capable of reshaping how you think, work, learn, and perform in every demanding area of your life. Throughout these chapters, you have explored how to prepare your environment, train your attention, build cognitive endurance, enter flow, protect your focus, structure your thinking, recover strategically, perform under pressure, and ultimately transform focused effort into a sustainable daily habit. What began as a single hour of intentional concentration has evolved into a framework for mental mastery, where awareness replaces distraction and structure replaces chaos. In a world designed to fragment your attention, choosing to focus deeply becomes an act of control, clarity, and personal authority. The ability to concentrate without interruption is no longer common, which makes it extraordinarily valuable for those willing to train it consistently. Deep focus increases the quality of your output, sharpens your decision-making, accelerates learning, and strengthens your confidence in high-pressure situations. It reduces wasted effort, minimizes mental fatigue caused by constant task switching, and allows you to produce meaningful progress in less time. Most importantly, it restores ownership over your mind, preventing external noise from dictating the direction of your thoughts and actions. Mastery of attention becomes mastery of performance, and mastery of performance shapes the trajectory of your results. One disciplined hour each day, repeated consistently, compounds into transformative change over months and years. The power has never been in working longer, but in working deeper. If this focused experience has strengthened your clarity, improved your productivity, or revealed how powerful one uninterrupted hour can truly be, take the next step by committing to make deep focus a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Schedule your next session intentionally, prepare your environment deliberately, and protect that hour as if it were an investment in your future, because it is. Follow Freema Audio for more performance-driven sessions designed to sharpen your mind and elevate your output. Subscribe so you continue receiving structured guidance that strengthens discipline, resilience, and cognitive mastery. Leave a review to support the mission of helping more individuals reclaim their attention in an age of distraction. Share this audiobook with someone who is ready to improve their performance and regain control over their focus. Remember that clarity is a skill, endurance is trainable, and deep work is a competitive advantage available to anyone willing to practice it consistently. Your results will reflect the quality of your attention. Protect it, train it, and use it wisely. The next focused hour begins when you decide it does.